Five Nights at Freddy's is a horror series coming from Scott Cawthon and Scott Games. However, sometimes things about these games hit people where it hurts, even if it wasn't intentional. And that's what we're exploring today, because while jump scares will get me, these fears will take you by surprise. Greetings gamers and welcome back to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host Connor Monroe, and if you have chromophobia, you must be scared of me. It's the fear of cheese. If you're new here or haven't yet, we cover FNAF basically on the daily, so be sure you hit and like and subscribe for more FNAF and other games that you probably won't care about as much. But you will this one since we're talking about the top 10 scary phobias FNAF will trigger. I'm back, baby! Now, roll the intro. 10. Papaphobia. If you happen to have Papaphobia, then FNAF 2 is going to be hell. With the mechanic added of winding the music box, you will constantly have to keep looking at your worst fear. Papaphobia, as I'm sure you can tell, is the fear of puppets. And considering how there is also a minigame revolving around the puppet jump scare, I'm sure you can see why FNAF would trigger this fairly common phobia. The main triggers of course being the puppet, or perhaps even the mini arenas from Sister Location. I mean, they're essentially just smaller versions of the puppet. Well, with tutus, so I mean like it's not that much of a stretch. And don't even get me started on how bad Night Marionette from the FNAF 4 Halloween expansion would be. While yes, puppets would be scary, a puppet intentionally designed to kill you using the exact same mechanics as Nightmare, by far the scariest animatronic from that game, well, you'll just be screwed at that point, won't you? And at 9, chromophobia. Chromophobia is the fear of colors, and while yes, colors are everywhere, they're very present in the FNAF series. I mean, there was a whole debate based on if purple guy and pink guy were the same person. Plus, text colors end up becoming very important later on, indicating to us who is speaking, and not to mention the things that are literally coming at you are colorful as well. Unless you play Night 5 of FNAF 1 in Help Wanted, which does make everything black and white. Colors ended up becoming such an important part of the game, people were legit fighting over it. People became indicated by their color. Purple guy, mustard man. Hell, we even figured out that Elizabeth Afton possessed Baby by the shift in eye color, since Baby's eyes were blue but switched to green when Elizabeth takes over because her eyes were green. Color became so important it would surely terrify anyone with chromophobia. And you won't have to worry about that for me because I'm pasty as hell. And at 8, electoral phobia. Some people say Chica is sexy, and I mean, y'all can like whatever you wanna like, even if it is highly disturbing, but the fact that there is a legit main character based on a chicken doesn't help those with electoral phobia, which is the fear of chickens. Unless people are able to convince themselves that she is a duck, supposedly also a fear that a duck is always watching you. Kentucky will no doubt be the scariest part of this game franchise. I honestly don't know if Nightmare Chica would be any better or worse in this scenario. I mean, she does indeed look like a chicken, but she is specifically designed to be more nightmarish than the others, so only those with this phobia could really know. And if you have this fear, please tell me in the comments which version of Chica is scarier. And is Mermaid Chica scary to you? Because it's technically a mermaid, but it's also a chicken. I don't know the rules with this sort of thing. And 7, kakorafeophobia. Unless you are instantly a pro at power management and strategy, you will fail at least one of these nights. Whether it's due to your power running out or you forgetting to check Foxy, the animatronics will get you at least once in any given playthrough. While the whole build up to your inevitable demise is crazy and definitely one of the scarier parts of the games, the jump scare when you least expect it is the worst. However, if you have kakorafeophobia, the fear of failing, you'll be even more terrified before and after the fact. The fear of failing can manifest in multiple different ways, usually associated with an attempt to get someone's approval but never succeeding. However, it ends up putting a real strain on your life, and that while yes, we all want to succeed, failing is okay because we won't collapse to the ground or have a panic attack because of it, unless it's a jump scare from that damn Reaper puppet, because I can't handle that. And 6, chlorophobia. While Sister Location may be best for those with a fear of chickens, since Chica isn't present, those with chlorophobia will end up hating themselves for playing. Chlorophobia is the crippling fear of clowns, much like the fear that Sam Winchester and his linebacker shoulders has. With the whole Sister Location crew basically being clowns, I'm sure anyone who loaded this game would actually beg for the sweet merciful release of death. Not in game, obviously, because that involves getting jump scared by a clown. And even Ennard, who is in my opinion one of the creepiest animatronics now, who only has a clown face, would still scare the pants off anyone who decides to play Sister Location because it was the start of a new story, if you consider the fact that FNAF 4 was described as the final chapter of the original story. Halfway through number 5, scopophobia. Have you ever felt like someone was watching you? Maybe you caught someone's gaze on the bus, or you think that the bathroom mirror is more than it seems. Well, how about having scopophobia, fear of being stared at? If you are brought to your knees by a slightly longer look than normal, you probably are going to hate the fact that literally all these characters do is stare at you. They stare at you through the camera, they stare at the camera while right next to it, they also stare into your soul just from the outskirts of your office. Whether it be from the door or a window that you aren't able to close. Anyone scared of being stared at will surely get their money's worth of scares from any FNAF game. And at 4, zoophobia. You thought Zootopia was a clever name because all the animals were living in a utopia? Well, it could have been a pun referring to the irrational fear of animals known as zoophobia, since in the movie all animals are afraid of the predators being feral again or whatever. I saw part of it. Once. Well, almost every single animatronic having anything to do with these Five Nights at Freddy series, with the exception of a few from Sister Location and FNAF 2, are anthropomorphized versions of animals. Bonnie the bunny, Chica the chicken, Freddy Fazbear, Foxy, it's right in the name, Mangles, just another version of Foxy, Springtrap is a golden bunny, Dreadbear is just a Frankenstein bear. Almost every individual animatronic has some form of animalistic feature about them, and to anyone with zoophobia that is one hell of a nope. Plus, the nightmare forms of these animatronics can be even worse, especially when in FNAF 4 you need to get really close to Foxy to send it away. And in the Curse of Dreadbear DLC, you need to deal with all the Nightmare main cast in the hallway minigame, where you need to directly confront them since you need to make as much progress as you can quickly. And don't even get me started on how bad the corn maze or dark rooms must be with Nightmare Fredbear, man. Oh. And 3, pyrophobia. Look, I literally have the opposite of this fear because I love fire. But those with pyrophobia are terrified of fire. I mean, fire is a fair fear, considering how it can destroy everything, and if left uncontrolled, it will ruin the universe and everything in it. Kinda like FNAF. But in all honesty, while fire may not be directly in the game, if you play Pizzeria Simulator or hell even FNAF 3, this fear will be triggered. Considering how at the end of both of these games, the establishment you work at goes up in flames in an attempt to destroy the remnant that contains the souls of the damned. It also doesn't help that in FNAF 6 you actually are in the room that's burning, as indicated by the temperature going up in the office, getting higher and higher as Henry does his final monologue while wishing the souls of the children peace, as well as damning William to hell because, let's be honest, he deserved it. Even if there is that one kid that everyone would like out of the picture, whether it be the other child of your estranged father, the child of the woman you're looking to be with, or Wraith from Skyrim, because let's face it, if she was the one who possessed Golden Freddy, William would have been sent to the heavens, and this whole the one you should not have killed thing wouldn't have started. I hate Wraith. Also, note to my FBI agent, I don't actually plan on killing any kids, but if I did, they would probably deserve it. It's probably a brony. And at 2, necrophobia. Phobia. Okay, I'm saying necrophobia, as in fear of death or dead things. And considering how this series is piled high with underage corpses and death analogies like no other series, if you're scared of death or the concept of it, you're probably in for one wild ride. With representations of death like Nightmare and Nightmarionette, plus the literal addition of a new dead kid every game, death is everywhere in the Five Nights at Freddy series, and if you were to play the FNAF VR version, you would end up getting killed up close, or even end up seeing graves. When you get over in the game's DLC, you will drop one in your pants faster than me figuring out that I need to look at Bonnie's left, not mine. Yes, it happened, and I even said that I realized it in the text in the video. I was like, yeah, I figured out that it was the wrong eye. But you guys were still commenting about it like I didn't know in the comments, and there was that one person who was very rude about it, and I didn't realize people would be so mad about it. Like, come on, I found it hilarious after the fact. I think y'all just need to chill. Take a pill, watch people fail, and laugh about it. No need to spread rude comments about how stupid I am. I know I'm stupid, it's part of my charm. Finally, in at number 1, automatnophobia. This is literally the phobia this game was made for. Sure, it wasn't actually the reason it was made, but seriously, this is the perfect fear for these games. While sure, the thought of mannequins can creep anyone out, especially if you're being brought to life in a cheesy movie where they fall in love with the main protagonist and everyone judges him for it. But the fact that automatnophobia is literally the fear of animatronics is surely the bread and butter of this series. Well, it's more of a fear of human-like figures like wax figures and mannequins, as I mentioned, or or things like that, but animatronics that are anthropomorphized versions of animals is surely enough to trigger this phobia, especially when they're trying to freaking kill you. Plus, I looked it up and the fear of animatronics really started shooting up in August of 2014, when the first FNAF game was released, along with searches for animatronics and ways to stop being scared of animatronics. So these games even made people afraid of animatronics when they weren't before, or at least they didn't know it or acknowledged it beforehand. Gotta hand it to Scott, he did a very good job. I, for one, can never look Chuck E. Cheese in the eyes again. There we have it, friends, the top 10 scary phobias FNAF will trigger. Do you have any phobias that were triggered by FNAF, or just any game in general? Let us know below, and go check out the top 10 scary video games that will trigger weird phobias list, because that was a hilariously interesting video and it didn't get enough love. So if you're here because of FNAF, go check out that video. And be sure to hit like and subscribe for daily gaming content, most of it being FNAF, and ring a ding ding that bell to join the clan and level up. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been and shall remain Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video.